Views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday edition of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. I'm Anthony Hartwig, and as always, next to me, Ty Bartell. We're both in black today, Ty.
Mine's kind of, it looks
What's-
black on camera. It's more of a maroon. It's repping Waterloo today.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, your color palette's off.
Yeah, the color palette's a little bit off, but Waterloo basketball is a shirt we're repping today too.
Well, you got Waterloo, I got Canfield, so we're both representing YSN schools today.
Yeah, it's coming on strong too. And
This
honestly,
is a good day, Ty, because we don't usually get to rep specific teams, because I always feel awkward if we're interviewing someone from, let's say we're interviewing someone from Boardman. I'm not going to wear a Canfield shirt, or vice versa. So I'm always like, what am I want to wear these schools. I want to represent them on the show, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to interview someone in a different team's gear. It always made me feel awkward. But today, hey, you know what? High school season is over. We get to rep some of our schools.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like I said too, even during the season, I mean, for interviews, you gotta be cautious of who you're interviewing,
Right.
what you're wearing. But if teams are sending us gear, we'll rep any of our YSN
Oh, yeah,
teams.
we
Send
have
us
no
shirts,
shame.
we'll rep them. I mean, we'll rep them on this show. Absolutely.
I would love if I had every team in YSN in my closet. That would be golden. I've gotten a couple. I've started to
gotten a
acquire a
handful.
few. But if I had one, my closet can't take it. It's already filled to the brim. I'm already getting yelled at all the time. Clean out your closet. But if I had room, and if I had, if I could have a merchandise from every school, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
I will definitely swap out some shirts in my closet for.
Well, I think you only have 5 shirts. So.
That's what you think. No, I have a little bit more than that, but it does seem like it, right?
That red Under Armour hoodie.
It's that red Under Armour hoodie does cover up a lot of shirts that I do have. I do rep that hoodie a lot, but I can't now. I mean, the temperature, the way we've had it.
We did baseball games last night, and I've never been more happy to be in an enclosed shady press box. I mean, it was I'm not complaining, because one's hot, you're someone put on social media yesterday, hot, you're uncomfortable, cold, it hurts. And I could not agree with that more. You're uncomfortable when it's hot out, but when it's freezing cold, it hits you and it hurts. So I would always take hot over cold. That's just my opinion. But last night, the heat index was up over the hundreds, and you were sitting there sticking to everything, and it was a chore. So I was very impressed with the softball and baseball players that were out playing last night, because that can't be easy to play in a heat index that's 107 degrees. 2, I was just kind of really glad that I was in the press box.
You start to feel a lot more thankful, right? Once you're in the confines.
I should have brought one of my little personal
Mm-hmm.
fans. It's this big that you're just
just let it soak.
Sitting there on the broadcast. Blame it on the wind. Oh, it's real windy here.
When I was outside too, and just like looking in like the parking lot of Target, you could just oversee over top of the trees just the humidity and like a fog and a mist that's just over top of those trees, and it's like it looks like a tropical like climate. It's like, oh my
I'm
god,
telling you,
it's
it was
so
it
humid.
was straight up Kansas City weather. Like when we go to KC every summer, it's that humidity is 100% in the Midwest all the time. And when everyone was outside yesterday, that's what it's like every day. You go outside and it hits you like you can't breathe almost because the humidity is 100% plus it's 90 degrees. So that's why we decided no more day games when we go to Kansas City for Royals. That's a bad idea.
I mean, it is hot out when this humidity hits too, and that's the thing. You look at the heat index, and you mentioned that too. That's the thing you got to pay attention to, folks, because especially if you're going to go out and golf or if you're going out to a game, pay attention to that heat index because definitely humidity plays a factor in how
I
hot
think the
it's
heat
going.
index is made up. It was 107 last night. That's what it was. It felt like 107, then it's 107. No such thing as a heat index. Come on. It was 107 degrees because it felt like 107 degrees.
I mean, that's Anthony's logic for it. Weatherman Ant. He's got
If
it.
it feels like 107, it's 107. Come on. No, nothing else matters.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of like the points and whose line it's in anyway. They don't matter.
the props to the teams that did play last night because we did get a bunch of
Yes.
results in, and I mean they were playing in this kind of temperature too with 5:30 starts, and I mean that was right at the peak of the heat.
Ty, that is a professional segue right into our recaps of the action last night. Let's start with Class B, as always, and we will go into 18U action as athletics and prospects. We've seen a lot of pitchers duels. This is like 4 straight days where we get low scoring affairs, and the pitching is really starting to find itself in Class B, especially the 18U and 16U department. 2-1 athletics gets the win.
Yeah, and I mean another one of those good old fashioned, like you said, pitching duels, and 10 hits combined, 3 by the prospects, 7 by athletics, 2 errors on prospect side, 1 on the athletics side. But a lot of the scoring too was done early for the athletics, and 1 run scored late by the prospects. 1 in the bottom of the first and bottom of the third for the
I don't know
athletics.
if I like what DJ's insinuating.
What? Wow. It's soft index going around. Anthony, are you knowing anything about the soft index?
Sticks and stones, DJ. Sticks and stones. Why don't you continue the stats from that athletics prospects?
But yeah. 2 runs scored early by athletics. Prospects took 1 in the 7th, and it was 2-1 overall. And I mean, looking at the pitching stats, here's a name we've heard before too for the athletics: Riley McElwain. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts too. So pitching around some walks too, and credit prospects for drawing a lot of walks. And this is another case too where McElwain was one of those things where he might not have had his best stuff. He allowed some guys on base, some free passes, but he was able to pitch around it and get his team the win. Only 1 run allowed. That's some elite stuff that you see from McElwain.
When you're a strikeout pitcher, you can get away with some base runners because you can get out of inning really quick without putting the ball in play. And obviously, Riley McElwain is a great strikeout pitcher. He misses a lot of bats with his movement, so he's able to get away with a couple of base runners here and there.
Yep, and Brett McSparron for prospects, 5 innings on his part too. Only 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. I mean, a great outing for him as well. Kept his team in the game, and that's what you love to see. Seth Cervello, though, for another name we know, Boardman guy for athletics, leadoff man, had 0 at-bats. He did another one of those we talked about it, Ant. 3 walks on the day, 2 runs scored. So, man at the leadoff spot, walking 3 times to get on base. That's huge.
Yeah, you'll look at that and go, oh, man, I guess he didn't have – but, especially for your leadoff guy, getting on base is your job. So I don't care if you're walking, you're getting hit, you're getting a hit, you're reaching on the air, whatever it takes. As you're a leadoff guy, your main job is to get on base, and 3 walks that's doing your job.
No doubt. And I mean, that's what we saw too. And the biggest thing we saw, I think, out of it, when you talk about the pitching stats, I think, like we said, Riley McElwain just bending but not breaking too with the base runners allowed. 2 hits, 6 walks. And I think that's the biggest thing. You talked about the free passes, but not allowing guys to get hits after that, only holding them to 2 hits in 6 innings of work. That's a huge stat line, I think, for McElwain.
Well, yeah, like I said before, he's a strikeout pitcher, which means a lot of guys aren't putting the ball in play, and that's what you want to do when runners are on base. You want to at least try to move them over by putting the ball in play. Can't really do that when, when you're striking out.
It keeps the Athletics in the middle of the pack too, with 3 teams now being 7-7 in the standings over at 18U.
A couple of names, more other names to shout out. Nathan Vidmar had multiple hits for Athletics. He went 2 for 3. And then the 2 RBI of the day was hit in by Sebastian Rosado Guindon, who went 1 for 2 with both of Athletics RBI. So he had a big hit, like you said, 2 runs scoring late, and he came up big for the Athletics. 2 runs is all they needed.
9-hole hitter again, and I mean it's kind of a running theme that we keep seeing. It's bottom of the order that comes up big in these kind of affairs too, in these pitching duels. You always get runs, it feels like, from the most unlikely sources sometimes when it comes down to a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. And we saw it too. 9-hole hitter came up clutch, 2 big runs, and that was all that they needed to get the win.
Well, 9-hole hitters in Class B are a little bit different. I think you would be able to say.
Well, no doubt. I mean, the 9-hole hitters compared, like when you look at the standard high school team to Class B, 9-hole hitters at Class B are typically batting at the worst, like 6th in high school orders. You usually see they're in
Guindon is an IUP baseball commit. So
yeah, so like the talent levels there, they're all from Western PA too, as well as Northeastern Ohio. They're all over the place. The baseball talent is real over in Class B.
He's a part of my all-name team too, because like Sebastian, then he has the double last name with Rosado Guindon. It's part of the all-name team.
SRG. I like it.
I like it. Let's move on to some other scores across the 18U action last night as we go back to. Hold on, I lost it. As we go back to the scores, the recaps that came in, Astro Falcons Creekside Fitness. This was one that was set up as the battle for first place, and the Astro Falcons, they weren't messing around.
Grabbed an early lead, 2-0 at the bottom of the first, and really exploded in the bottom of the second. 7 spot put on. They added 1 in the fourth, but they pretty much needed all the runs that they got in the first inning was all that they needed. But they kept on adding on too, and they finished this one 10-0 as victors. And I mean, you look at this box score down the line, 5-inning, 3-hit shutout performance by Jordan Colenda. 3 walks, 10 strikeouts, 75 pitches to get through those 5 innings. Surprise, surprise. Astro Falcons have another ace performance from a pitcher in the 18U side of things. And looking at the hits too down the line, they got 10 hits as a team and spread out once again throughout the team. But top of the order, 2 for 3 for Clay Ysn, 2 for 3 for Anthony Miller, 1 for 2 for Zeke Hendricks. And 4 RBIs, too, that Miller knocked in. I mean, top of the order doing its job and bringing runs in and getting hits and getting on base.
Anthony Miller will be on our show on Monday at 1:15. So we shout out his name. And like I said, he'll be coming on Running Point not too long.
We are always excited to get more of these Astro Falcons and 18U bats on there because there's so much talent that's hosted in the 18U class.
Right, so this game, the Astro Falcons, they've had their struggles with Nightline this year. They lost 1 and they won 4-3. But I'll tell you, they seem, especially the last 2 years, they seem to have Creekside Fitness's number. Like every time they toe up together, it seems like it's supposed to be a big matchup, but then the Astro Falcons just put their absolute best foot forward. I think they get some extra competitive juices from it being a rival.
It very well could be. And I mean, you see it once again, pitching just slams the door and offense just puts in whatever they need to put in. And it just so happened tonight that Astro Falcons were really feeling generous on the offensive side too for their arm, because their arm went out, did what they usually do, pitch a shutout or damn near close to one and give you a chance to win every time you're out there. And Astros bats definitely came around big time this time around.
We'll look at the whole standings a little bit later when we get through the recaps, but the Astro Falcons came in trailing by a half game. So they needed this win to get back in first place, and they got it.
Yeah, that's a huge win for them. And yeah, you're right, Anthony. When we do go back to look at the standings, we will see that Astro Falcons now will be sitting atop of the standings in 18U.
Avalanche and Nightline got into a slugfest, 14-10. The Avalanche come out on top of a offensive gun show.
And I mean, we see these two. We've seen the pitching duels that have happened at Bob Scene Park, but we've also seen plenty of these slugfests that can occur. And Nightline and Avalanche certainly brought that. 24 runs scored combined between the teams. 13 hits for the Avalanche, 14 for Nightline as well. So a lot of hits to go around from these teams. And looking just around the diamond too, first and foremost for Nightline, a double for Anthony Masucci on the day. He was 2 for 4, had a couple of RBIs. Man Bohm had 3 RBIs as well to make up 5 of the 9 RBIs scored for Nightline bats. And really, you look at the bats too for Avalanche, almost every single batter, 6 batters in the nine spots in the lineup had an RBI for the Avalanche. That's everyone being able to bring in runs, being productive too, 1 through 9 in that order.
You get an RBI. You get an RBI. Everybody gets an RBI.
It really was. It was spread out offense, and I think that's what you love to see too. I mean, especially top 3 hitters all have an RBI, and then you go 6, 7, 8, or no, excuse me, 5, 6, 7, 8, all getting an RBI as well. That's the bottom of the order, top of the order. Everyone's being productive in this order.
You can't pitch against that. Like, how are you supposed to go up against a lineup where everyone can just go and mash against you?
And everyone has that kind of same approach when guys are on base too, that can just knock them in. That they don't get in their own head. They don't make it bigger than what it is. They just go up there with their same approach, try to get on base, and they're able to bat around the order. And I mean, that's how you get, for pun intended, an avalanche of runs. It starts with one, and then they just start piling on.
Another competitive game in Class B last night in the 18U division, as Eagleware was able to beat Whiting 4-3, just edging Whiting roll-offs.
These were, I mean, we've had a little bit of everything, right? A pitcher's duel, we've had an offensive explosion, and this is kind of one of your standard baseball games.
And this is like standard, right? We've seen we've seen 2 scores from every spectrum. We've seen like the pitcher's duel that goes really low scoring. We've seen the slugfest. This is like 4-3, your average run scored. We're all good.
Yeah, like this is one of your standard baseball games, and you look at even deeper in the box score, 5 hits for Whiting, 7 for Eagleware, and both teams had a couple of errors. So, I mean, box score was pretty much down the middle, pretty standard one. But Sam Amadio was the difference, too, for Eagleware. 7 innings, went the complete game, gave up the 3 runs, gave up 5 hits, struck out 9, didn't walk any batters, too, 92 pitches to get through those 7 innings. And it doesn't always need to be a shutout, right, to be considered a great performance. And you can give up a couple of runs. He still battled in there, got his team to win. Team gave him enough offense. He went the 7-inning shutout. And I mean, I think the biggest thing was didn't walk a batter. He stayed in there, battled. The only base runners were on 5 hits.
And we talked about yesterday, Ty, your job as a starter is to keep your team in the game, right? So yeah, you didn't throw a shutout, but you're not going to have your absolute shutout stuff every night you go up on the mound. So he kept his team in the game. That's his job as a starter, and he did a good job of that. He also went 1 for 2 at the plate. Leadoff hitter for Avalanche, and Matthew Strank, who is a familiar name from Crestview, he went 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs. So he had a good day to lead off the lineup.
I also want to shout out, too, for Whiting, Jacob Warner, going 5 innings. He allowed 3 runs of the 4 scored, 2 on 7 hits. Nice outing, though, for him, too, against Eagleware. And it was just the case that the Eagleware batters were able to get 1 run more than Whiting in this case.
Yeah, and some of the other names you want to shout out for Eagleware, Joseph Casarella. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI. He had multiple hits. And then the bottom of their order coming up big. And Cole Grable, 1 for 2 with a run scored, and he also walked. So he got on base 2 out of the 3 times. And sometimes we talk about that 9-hole hitter. I know there are times in baseball and softball where 9-hole hitters get a little disrespected, and they kind of feel like when they're in the 9-hole, they're kind of just put down there like because we're hiding somebody in the 9 spot. But job is to turn the lineup back over. So if you're getting on 2 out of 3 times in the game, you at the 9 spot doing your job, flipping the order, and when you have a leadoff hitter that's doing as good of a job as Matthew Strank, then that's really setting the table for someone that's swinging the bat well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we saw RBIs on Whiting's side by Brennan Porter, Shane Roper, and Brady Shannon, as Roper and Shannon.
Shocker. Brady Shannon getting some RBI.
A couple of sack fly RBI for Shannon in the game, but Brady Shannon also hit a triple in this one as well. So you see Shannon at the top of Whiting's order in that.
Last year Whiting wore like the black with the yellow stripe in the middle of the chest with white, kind of like the old school White Sox, different color scheme, but that same kind of design. This year they got some slick gold unis, gold jerseys. They're kind of looking like a little bit like Vanderbilt with the gold, the black hats with the star with a W in the middle instead of a V, but kind of looking a little bit like Vandy. And I kind of like it. And I think Brady Shannon's getting used to wearing the gold and black because that's what he'll be doing at UCF.
You're digging it, huh?
I'm digging it.
You're digging it.
I am obviously I'm a Georgia Tech fan. I love the gold, like the leaf gold as a primary color. So I love the gold and I love the black together. And like I said, I think Brady Shannon's really loving getting to get used to his new school colors that he'll be donning not too soon. Not too soon.
Not too soon.
That's not good. That's not what I wanted.
Not too long from now.
Not too long. I don't know why I couldn't get that. Let's just restart the show. Can I run the intro again and restart?
if we were more of a comedy show, sure, just run it back and rewind. Final score too, I think we need to get to was an 18U, I believe, Ballistic and
Durham Edge. Ballistic got the win 14-4. So their offense, and the headline I used for the graphic was bombarded. They bombarded Durham Edge with 14 runs, and Durham Edge, usually 4 runs is a pretty good offensive showing in baseball, but when your opponent rakes like Ballistic did last night, that can get away from you real quick.
It was a really efficient night for Ballistic Bats. 13 runs on 13 hits and 12 RBIs scored by Ballistic Bats. And here's an even better one for you. 7 of the 9 bats in Ballistic's order getting an RBI too. The only exception was the 4 and the 9-hole hitter who didn't get an RBI. But you look at that, you look at those two, with the exception of those two, 9-hole hitter still had 2 hits on the night too. So I mean, it was still production 1 through 9 for Ballistic's order, and they were really just piling things on one after another.
The biggest bat was Brady Gavola, who went 3 for 3 with 3 RBI. I mean, that's threes are wild.
That's exactly what you want, right? What a day for him as well. And then there was 4 doubles that were hit. Luke Leonard, Tyler Mack, Marco Visi, and then Donovan Sullivan all hitting a double. And then Will Morrow hits a triple in this one as well. So you see extra base hits galore, as well as 5 were hit by Ballistic Bats.
Hold on. Marco Visi, Will Morrow, and Colby Lewis all got multiple hits. They all went 2 for 3, and Vesey scored 3 runs. So that's production on the base bats, not getting yourself out running.
It was a 5-inning affair too because of the 10-run rule. So Dalen Michelini got the 5-inning shutout, or excuse me, not shutout, 5-inning complete game performance too, allowing 4 runs, 3 of them earned on 5 hits. Did allow a home run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and that home run was hit by Jack Kale for Durham Edge, as it was a 3-run bomb that Kale was able to hit. And that one for Durham Edge came in the 5th inning. So the biggest run differential inning, though, was that bottom of the 4th. 10 runs scored by Ballistic Bats in the bottom of the 4th after scoring 2 in the 1st and in the 3rd. 10 in the 4th, and you talk about crooked numbers. That was a pretty big crooked number by Ballistic. They didn't need to score anything after that.
Of course, we watched Little League Baseball, and DJ was down there last night for some games, and you can find post-game interviews with the players of the game that he did on YouTube. Then I did the softball championships last night at BCP at the Field of Dreams as well. So yes, we have full coverage of that Little League tournament, and like you said, the championships are tonight for baseball.
Going into that, and I mean, talk about that experience too. I mean, getting out there, being able to see some of the future of area softball play in this field.
I love it. I love seeing the next generation, Ty. One of my favorite parts was the chants that came out of the 10U dugout. Like, I know at some point in the line, you lose the athletes kind of lose their shamelessness with the chants they're able to put out. But I love, like, some of them were so off the wall. I had no idea what they were even saying, but they still made me laugh because it's just the energy of the game, the love for being there. And both games were really competitive. 7-5 win for the Boardman Lions and 10U to get the championship. And then you had Kyler Fleming, Insurance getting the win over the Cosmetics, 3-1 in the 12U championship. And let me tell you, Emma Davies in that Kyler Fleming team, she's going to be very good in her future. She's only 11, I think. And she can spin the ball. She pitches really well. She's got velo for that age, and she hits pretty well. So I think, and it runs in her family because her mom was a state champion in 2001 for Boardman. So maybe look out for Emma Davies in the next couple of years.
With your expertise in the sport too, and I mean just your talks with coaches at this age, how influential and how impactful are the adjustments that are made in this kind of middle school age for the success and the outcome of success in the varsity level in high school?
I'm sorry, I was distracted by the comment. Can you repeat that question? Because DJ Oakley brought up the chant about the dead bird that had us both. I had to try to control myself because I was still on the mic, but I saw DJ just kind of look away and almost walk out of the press box so he could get just rolling in tears. So
no, my question was, I mean, just looking at these athletes too, and your expertise with the sport, and just talking with coaches at this level, how influential and impactful are the adjustments and the where you find your swing at this age in generating success at that high school level, at the varsity level?
I think kids are finding it earlier and earlier as we go on. If you watch 10U and 12U, maybe actually I went to 10U and 12U games back in 2014 because we were in Berliner Park for a week for the Akron Racers, and when the Racers weren't playing, we watched 10U and 12U. And then you compare that experience to watching 10U and 12U last night, the swings they take, the discipline at the plate, not swinging at everything, base running, even fielding when the ball's put in play. It's a lot better now at 10 years old than it used to be. I think these kids are starting earlier, and therefore their talents and their skills are progressing at an earlier age. And still that jump, like when I watched 10U to 12U, it was amazing to see how much they develop in 1 year. Because a lot of those 10U girls were 8, 9, somewhere around that, and then obviously the 12U maybe 11, so maybe 1 or 2 years in between. But the jump, the things that the 12U were kind of grasping and getting was really remarkable. I think the adjustments and the developments, one is a props to the coaches that are putting in their time, almost volunteering with these 12U and 10U rec teams, but also a testament to the growth of softball and this want to get better and this want to grow in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, we see it, and you're right, Ann. I mean, a lot of the freshmen that came in at the varsity level were impactful and huge this year throughout high schools. And I'm excited to see how the development starts at even an earlier age too, when we can see these girls really start to develop here in the middle school ranks. And we had the question too come up where we can find all the playoff games.
And we've already put the links in the comments. So whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, you can go and the link is there. But for those of you that are watching online and you don't know how to get to the games, ysnlive.com/live. And that is the list of all the games we have on the network tonight. You can find them. Click on it, scroll past the sponsors, hit that play button, and it's totally free. So you'll be able to just simply get to the game that way.
And also, too, if you go on the ysnlive.com site, just go to ysnlive.com, you'll see all those tabs at the top of the page. Go to the youth tab, and then right in there, you'll see Boardman Community Baseball as a part of the youth sports tab, too. So we got you covered on there, too, with its own page, the Boardman Community.
And when you go to that page, Ty, you can also find the past games that we've done for baseball and softball. And you can purchase those downloads for $2.99 a piece and have those games forever. So while you're at that page at the BCB, make sure to scroll down past that video box into the section that says on demand, and you can find all the games that we've already done posted on there. They usually get posted by the next day. So at some point in the next day after the game, you can head over to that page and get the downloads for $2.99.
But we still got all the games too tonight, absolutely free too. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be on our site too, ysnlive.com/live as well. So you could find both of those games live tonight, or both of the championship game, or the championship game, I should say. You did the softball championship game,
Right.
but you can find that on the community site as well too, and purchase that one.
A lot of those girls that we saw last night in that softball championship game will be in the districts that are coming up starting on June 27th at the Field of Dreams. So
that's exciting.
And YSN's gonna have wall-to-wall coverage of that. I think our deal with BCB is to have every district game covered. So we'll have all hands on deck at the Field of Dreams starting June 27th. I'll be down there. I'm sure Ty will be wrangled in to call a couple of games. DJ will be down there. All the guys that have been down there all season will be down there, and we'll make sure that we get every single district game covered on YSN.
Yeah, and it'll be an exciting time too, as that's always fun, right? Right at the end of June when we get those districts too, and that'll be for softball and for baseball. So
Yep. I think the dates are a little bit different. I think softball starts 27th. Baseball is a little bit of a different time period, but we will still be there for all of those.
And we look forward to it as well because, I mean, the coverage we've seen too in the youth sports, as well as like the Class B baseball as well. It's been phenomenal. It's been phenomenal to start the summer. And I mean, it's been wall-to-wall coverage. We have games almost every single night, taking us late into the night on YSN. I mean, we're live literally almost 24 hours, it feels like. Well, not 24 quite, but it feels like we're live.
You want to do Running Point late at night to make it 24 hours? No. 4 a.m. Running Point. Here we go.
Once we get more hands on deck, we could start doing the late at night shows.
I think after like midnight, we should do what the old TV stations used to do and just run the national anthem and then go to static. I think that should be us.
We're just static live.
That is the end of our broadcast day. Thank you so much for tuning in. National anthem, the flag waving in the screen, and then static.
Let's see if we can get DJ in the comments on what his thoughts.
Do you remember like back in the day, like when I was young, after infomercials at like 2 a.m., the channel would just go into that like yellow, blue, pink box.
The lines, I remember.
So I don't know.
I remember certain channels, I mean, would just be dead air time. Yeah.
That's happening. Like every channel has 24 hours. They're putting something on, which is a props to syndication and being able to just throw in sitcoms when you want to throw in sitcoms and then infomercials. But I remember when the broadcast day would end and you'd see those colored lines. What's this? I have to read it now, don't I? Hold on.
Well played. Well played. Well played.
Maybe we can have a Sports Center type show that just runs reruns from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. Sports Center used to do that. Now it's live through the night, which don't know how they're able to do that. That's probably
we're gonna start infiltrating the West Coast.
Yeah.
We gotta be like out in Cali too, and that's gonna be the big one for us.
YSN Hawaii. I want to be the first to volunteer for that.
No, but looking at these games too, and looking at the game you were at, I'm really excited to just start getting more and more deeper into seeing how much talent is hosted in these younger softball realms. You were at 10U and 12U. I mean, these are going to be girls that we're going to be seeing in just a few years. In just a few years' time in these high school ranks, and they're going to be tearing it up because we've seen how many freshmen tear it up this year. That's only going to continue.
You know what else is crazy, Ty? And I'm sure it's true on the baseball field too. 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds, they're all getting bigger. But this girl stepped to the plate, and I was like, is she in varsity? Because she was like, she was 5'7", built, had the muscles, and swung like a varsity. I was like, geez, she really 11? There are some trickled in there that still look like little girls, and then there are some that are just like, oh my gosh, you're 5'7" already, and you're 12. You're mashing. One of the girls just ripped a ball that would have been a home run by a long way, but it went foul, and I was like,
the importance of
one of the hardest hit balls I've ever seen.
It's crazy the importance of not only lifting, but how much these kids are just taking the importance of not only just lifting, but like nutrition and like that at just an earlier age, but also just like taking importance of just getting reps in with their swings and just going to the cages to swing.
To answer this question, live games are free, no payment at all. You get to click on it, you watch it live. The only thing you have to pay for is if you want to go and download it after it goes live. So the on-demand downloads are $2.99. Live games are totally free.
Yep. So that's how that breaks down too with that, and that's the case with all of anything that's ever been broadcasted live is purchasable on the thing.
You can go back. You can go back to the shows. Go back to the dawn on YSN.
Yeah.
And get games from 2017.
Yeah, and then all of our shows are on YouTube, so you can subscribe, hit that notification bell on there as well. Before you stop me on that,
I can't even set you up anymore. You're just taking it. I love it. Take the initiative.
But no, our YouTube page has all of our shows. You could go to YSN Live on YouTube to find all of the old shows and all the interviews that were done as well on these shows. So interviews with local players of just about every single sport locally that you could think of, too, from lacrosse to diving to track and field, baseball, softball, football, volleyball. I mean, we got you covered wall to wall with all kinds of sports interviews. You could find those.
Wrestling,
our YouTube page.
Bowling. We did golf. A lot of sports.
Yeah.
I can't think of a sport we didn't touch at least once.
Tennis. I mean, it's
tennis. We had the tennis interview. Absolutely.
So we're out there with sports too. So you could find all those YouTube interviews on our YouTube page, YSN Live, and those are completely free as well too. The only thing purchasable are the old games too. So games that are on demand, like Anthony said too, but games as they are live, completely free for the summer.
And all of our games are archived on the on-demand section of whatever team you're looking for. So per se, let's say you wanted to go back and watch JFK's state championship from 2019. You go to JFK's website and you just scroll until you hit that game.
YSNlive.com really is like your central hub too. And if you go there, all those tabs are conveniently located right at the top for you. And you could see the high schools, you could see the youth leagues. And I mean, it'll let you know pretty much all the teams that are covered too. They all have their own individual page on there. So you can find those conveniently and find all the games that we've done for them on that page as well.
Broken down into conferences. So you have to know what conference your team plays in, because you go to high schools, then you go into the conference, and then you find the team. So as long as you know what conference your team plays in, you're golden.
Yeah, you're set.
We
talk about it enough on the show too to remind people where the conferences are. And speaking of which too, and I mean, we have a little bit of time today. We could talk a little bit deeper too into some of the way these conferences are going to break down now that the divisions have changed for some of these schools, because we got to remember football is going to be computer points based, right? And there's no doubt now when you talk about high school voting, there's still some people that look at record, but they look at who you played too. Who did you beat division wise? And I feel like that's going to play an effect too, as far as how that's going to be concerned and situated.
Perfect tease into our next segment as we take a break on Running Point to pay some bills. We'll be back with conference alignment talk, I guess you would call it, on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Klim from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Ty Bartell. And Ty, you brought up a good point before our break that conferences and the way they look and the way that I guess the opponents are looked at, especially in football, might drastically change with these division breakdowns.
I think it's going to be big now. And I mean, namely, the first one I want to go into is you look at the NE8, and we kind of briefly mentioned it prior to when we were announcing just where everyone was kind of shifting. But this NE8 is going to look a little bit different now with South Range and the competitive teams that are in the lower divisions of the NE8, where it used to be South Range was thriving, having a couple of teams in Division 3 that they were able to get wins off of, couple of teams, and then a few teams in Division 4 too. But now no other teams in Division 3. It's all D4 and then a couple of D5 teams. Might have to see South Range have to go little bit higher up division wise in that non-conference schedule to try to make up some of those computer points, because we know those computer points that Joe Itel showcases for us too so nicely that the OHSA uses is going to be a determining factor in where you rank these teams, aside from record, obviously.
They lost what two games that in their schedule that would have been a Division III school with Niles and Hubbard. I think those were the only two teams in the NE8 that were Division III. But you look at it in every other team still Division IV, so they're still up a division from Lakeview and South Range. They're both in the same boat as far as they're both being in Division V. So they're both still playing almost exclusively upper division in their league. So I don't think it hurts them per se. But it definitely takes away those 2 games a year that give them a little bit of extra points. But let's be honest, like teams that are consistently good like that, if you're 9-1, you're not sitting there counting the extra point that you lost because it went from Division III to Division IV. So I don't think it hurts too much. I don't think like everyone's going to be in a scheduling panic over at Lakeview and South Range, but I still think that those extra points for a Division III win could be the difference between a seed. You could be sitting on the edge of 2 versus 3, and all of a sudden those extra points between being a Division III win and Division IV win could be the difference. But I don't think it's like severe panic mode or anything like that down there.
And looking at the entire list too for Division IV, we know it's super crowded now. And I mean, just in the Region 14, which is or 13, excuse me, which is our region alone. I mean, looking down the list of just teams that are YSN represented: Beaver Local, Youngstown East, East Liverpool, Girard, Hubbard, Jefferson area, Niles, Poland, Salem, Springfield, Struthers, Ursuline, West Branch.
You did not say Springfield.
That's a different. Or yeah, excuse me.
Wait a minute, Ty's getting the Springfield mixed up again, aren't you?
They slipped me up again, but no, Struthers.
I'm about to say no way.
Struthers, Ursuline, and West Branch. So I mean, you look at that. I mean, we're looking what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams in this region that are represented by YSN. And I mean, there's not too many teams in the region as a whole either. So having 11 teams in this region represented by YSN, it's going to get crowded too. And come tournament time, we might see a lot of YSN matchups at a
Unfortunately for us, it's going to weed down the herd pretty quick when YSN teams are playing each other in every round. But like you said, it's going to be a wild Division 4. It's going to be a wild Division 5 because yes, you lose Kirtland, but remember you gain Perry. Perry moved down to Division 5, and they were the team that West Branch had to beat in the regional semifinals last year. So you're always going to kind of give and take, right? You're going to lose a team maybe in Division 5, but there's going to be that team that drops down from Division 4 to replace them. So I think when looking at it, it's not like every division got harder or easier. It's just new faces.
I think we should just go through each one of the divisions, kind of look at the conferences, how they're going to shake out, and just kind of pick favorites, I guess. Not favorites, I would say, but just like look at where these teams are going to benefit, I guess, from where they've moved divisional wise and who they're going to have to compete with now in each division.
Well, I think football is the only sport where what division you're in as far as the conference really is going to make a big impact, because like you said, you do look at other coaches, especially outside the area, do look at who you play, but I don't think they look at the name and say, oh, they're a Division II team, you played them. I think they look and say, hey, we know that team, we know they're usually pretty good, you played them and beat them, and they don't even realize what division they're in. Like if you're looking at, like, let's say, oh, you played let's go to the softball per se. Oh, you played a champion. We know they're a really good team. Not everyone probably knows that they're Division III, but their name brings prestige, and that gives you credit for beating them. So I think in sports like that, when it's coach voting and you don't get points for what division you're playing, I really don't think the division of the conferences is going to have a big, I guess usually a big shake up. I think the only thing you're going to see get shaken up a little bit is the fact that there are some teams that would play their whole conference schedule and then not have to see a lot of their conference in the tournament because of what division they were in. Now you're going to see, especially like Waterloo. Waterloo's down in Division 4 now, so Waterloo played their whole MVAC schedule, and then a lot of those teams were down in Division 4. They didn't have to really see them in the tournament. Now you're gonna have to play a couple of those teams 3 times probably if they wind up in that district. Now there are chances that Waterloo gets sent off to that lone Division 4 district that's kind of by itself. But if they end up in the Northeast district, then you're saying, Waterloo might have to play McDonald 3 times, might have to play Jackson Milton 3 times, Springfield 3 times, Western Reserve 3 times. When last year we played them twice, we were done with them, and we moved on to the tournament and focused on a lot of the MVAC grade tier and some of the other EOAC kind of teams that fall in Division 3. So I think that's going to be a thing with conferences, but I don't think, other than football, you're going to see schedules change and impacts change based on what division the team is in your conference. If that makes sense.
I agree with you. I agree. I think you're going to see the teams that did move down. Like, I think Lakeview is going to benefit big time in this for moving down Division 4 to Division 5 now, because first of all, your sky's the limit, right? You kind of hit a flat line. Lakeview did. They kind of hit a reset button, right, with their football program. I think this is all beneficial to Lakeview having to play their conference too, because the wins you get now are, like you said, Ant, you're still playing up division. So it's going to account for something in the grand scheme of things. And you might be able to see Lakeview sneak in too, especially in a Division 5 tournament. If you can go 5-5, 6-4, depending on who you're playing too, and if they're up divisions, it might be in your favor.
Yeah, and you got to remember Lakeview last year was Division 4, so a lot of those teams who were playing were in the same division. They weren't playing a division up when they got those wins. So now they're in Division 5. The only other NE team in Division 5 is South Range. So they're looking up at everybody except the Raiders as far as division-wise.
Pretty much. But the thing that was interesting too, with Niles going down a division and Hubbard, we look at Division 3 now for our coverage. We're looking at 3 teams in Division 3 now for YSN coverage map. We're looking at Canfield. We're looking at Cheney, or 4 teams, excuse me. We're looking at Canfield, we're looking at Cheney, we're looking at Howland, and we're looking at Louisville. And I tell you what, for those 4 teams, I like all 4 of their chances going into this season too. We'll talk more in depth, obviously, with football teams once we get a little bit closer, but I like where these teams stand, even though I don't think any of these teams moved. I think Howland might have moved up 1 division.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Chardon leave Division 3?
No, I believe Chardon's
it was the other sports that they moved. Football
Chardon did move in others. Yep, Chardon is still in Division 3 as far as football. Cleveland Benedictine is Division 3 now too. Like, if we want to talk, and this was the one thing that DJ and I talked a little bit about on Power Hour, when Kirtland moves down to Division 6. These are other big name teams that are moving too. Cleveland Benedictine is one of those big name teams that has moved down now to Division 3, and that's a big name for that school too to be in. And that's a team you're going to be looking at trying to knock off.
We're going to see them a couple of times. I think Boardman has them on their schedule. Ursuline usually has them on their schedule, so we'll be able to see Benedictine a couple of times this year.
And that's going to be exciting too, right? That's why you love seeing what these teams do, because they want to bring that kind of competition into, especially if they're up or down 1 division too, because you don't want to really play your division too much. But that's a good schedule by Boardman to play one of Division 3's best.
Your division, you definitely don't want to play your region too much. I think coaches try to stay away from their region if they can. Obviously, conference games you can't, but out of conference games, you like to stay away from your region if possible.
And looking at Division 5, we talked about Lakeview, South Range, other teams that we have in Division 5 too that I think have a chance at making noise. You got to look at Garfield, right? You got to look at Liberty, Edison, and Cardinal Mooney are the other teams too that I'm seeing right off the rip in Division 5.
Well, you look at Liberty and what they had going last year, with so close to getting a couple of really big wins. All they have to do is make that next step. You go from 2 years ago getting beat by these teams pretty handily. Now you were competitive. You were right there. You were on the doorstep last year. Take that next step and be a team that can beat those teams instead of a team that can compete with those teams.
I think Garfield too. I mean, they were losing a decent amount too, but I think they have a good enough program, the G-men, to really come back and make a little bit of noise too, especially in Division 5. I'm excited to see these Division 5 teams too, because I think all of them have the potential. And Edison, I feel like, is one that not a lot of people are talking about. This is a team that's just consistently improving year after year after year. They're doing something right in Wildcat country over there in Edison. And I'm excited in this Division 5 too, just to see what they're able to do.
One of the big movements in volleyball, Ty, while we're on the fall spectrum, Mineral Ridge goes from Division 4 up to Division 3 in volleyball, and they've kind of been a mainstay in Division 4. This program's been really good under Ron Lesko, and now they're up in Division 3 where they're going to have to compete with this big name team named Crestview. Don't know if you've heard of them. You know, they're kind of a good team.
Crestview is definitely one of those teams too that is deadlocked, looking ahead at the playoffs as a team that wants to just get back there.
So Mineral Ridge moves up there. So they were a solid Division 4 team, and it'll be interesting to see how they compete. But also, Lakeview, who's a very good Division 2 team, drops down into Division 3. So now that Division 3 is going to have Crestview, Lakeview, and Mineral Ridge all in it. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Lakeview brings almost everybody back from last year. They didn't have too many seniors.
It's gonna be a matchup too, because Lakeview's gonna want Gerard too, as far as conference is concerned, right?
Oh yeah,
They're gonna be coming back for Gerard, but they're gonna be wanting to win those divisional games too.
We remember those storylines from last year, where Lakeview came into last year. They were undefeated all throughout their NE8 run. Like, they hadn't lost an NE8 game coming into last year since the birth of the NE8. They'd owned it. And Gerard came and beat them twice in the season, both in 5 sets. So they're coming for him. They're coming for him hard.
I like looking at these other teams too that moved, because I mean we've been focused so much on our YSN school teams, and with good reason. We're deadlocked on them too. But there's other teams for other schools that have moved around that I call impact schools, because they're schools that you're likely going to run into in certain sports and in certain cases. And I mean, where they play definitely is going to be a roadblock. We talked in great depth about Kirtland being that roadblock now in Division 6 for,
you know what,
like, anyone that wants that kind of a taste of that regional championship. You're gonna
back to Lakeview volleyball, Ty. They don't have to deal with the roadblock that is Notre Dame Cathedral Latin anymore.
You're right, and
that was their volleyball roadblock for like 4 years in a row.
I think it's big that you're seeing like these teams move. I think honestly, you want to talk roadblock, but moving up a Division 2, you can see that happen too. I think Louisville going from Division 2 to Division 1 now might get them away from some of the roadblocks in basketball. Yes, sir. In basketball, I think I could see that being beneficial to Louisville going forward. I really can.
But Division 1 is a monster.
It is a monster too, but you look at some of the teams too in Division 2. There's very good team basketball. It's very hard as far as like, because there's only 5 guys on the floor at once, right? We've seen really good Division 2, Division 3 teams beat Division 1 basketball teams in regular season before. Talent level is, I feel like, a little bit more even out and ironed out once you go into the sport of basketball.
Yeah, I agree with that. But we're looking at, you brought up Louisville, and they're going into Division 1. And then you look at Division 1, and
the biggest ones you're looking, St. Ignatius is probably your biggest.
Well, you know who moved up to Division 1 with Louisville? This was what I wanted to confirm. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary followed them. So you don't lose that roadblock.
And that was the roadblock for them too. So I mean, one roadblock follows, you lose a couple in Division 2, but then one roadblock follows as well. So, but now you talk about that though. What about these Division 2 teams now? Like
that open the door because they don't have to deal with Akron St. Vincent St. LeBron anymore?
I'm looking Cheney's way right now, because if let me double check and confirm, because if the Cheney Cowboys and I'm pretty sure they are.
They're Division 2.
They are. Door. You want to talk about a sport where a door just opened up a little bit? Then that's I think exactly the case.
But Ty, I don't even remember. Like, how young was Cheney last year? Like, did they bring a lot back?
They're gonna bring back, I think, a decent amount. Cheney was deep last year too. I mean, they played a decent amount of seniors too, but I think they still have some great young talent. They have a good program there. They really do. I'm excited to see now for at least the next 2 years, because even if this year is like your quote unquote rebuilding year and you're not primed to make that super big run, maybe you need a year to get kind of garnered up. I think Cheney has that kind of opportunity now. We talked about South Range in football not having Kirtland in Division 5 anymore. Cheney's one of their biggest thing was just running into Akron, St. Vincent, St. Mary every single year. And you mentioned them moving up with Louisville. Now Cheney has that door a little bit open now where you don't have to worry about St. Vincent, St. Mary in this region to get to the state Final Four.
As excited as we are about winter and fall sports coming up, we know that there's still a lot of summer to talk about. We're going to take a break, come back, talk about the Class B action we have tonight. It's 16U night, so we're going to take a look at the standings there and the matchups there and what some of the important matchups are and what the scope's going to be for tonight's coverage of Class B baseball at Bob Seton Park. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist.
With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealth.com. Good luck, athletes.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig alongside Mr. Ty Bartell, as always, as we're both repping our we're representing one of YSN schools today, which it's good, good day. It's a good day. Ty, before the break, we were able to kind of tease the 16U action tonight at Scene Park, and a lot of big games. Can you go through the schedule and see what we got going on today?
Yeah, let me pull up 16U's schedule real quick too for Bob Scene Park tonight. As Thursday is, I believe we have Thursdays and Tuesdays as their nights. We have a full slate too, and I think it's 2 games on every single one. So we got someone double dipping. We'll double check and see which ones that is. But on Scene 1, 5:30, it's Astros taking on Athletics. Eagleware and Prospects follow at 8 o'clock. Then on Scene 2, Avalanche takes on Eagleware at 5:30. So Eagleware playing twice against the Prospects on Scene 1 at 8, and then against Avalanche at 5:30 on Scene 2. Then at 8 o'clock on Scene 2, Avalanche takes on Creekside Fitness. So Avalanche also playing twice on Scene 2. Then on Scene 3 at 5:30, it's Ballistic taking on Whiting. And then at 8 o'clock, it is Nightline taking on Dura Edge.
Should be a fun night. And you look at the standings, Ty, Whiting's leading that Livy division. So it's an important night for them to kind of try to keep pace and try to keep the pressure on everybody else.
And looking at Whiting, too, I mean, they've had an absolutely impressive season, no doubt, and still continuing to lead that very tough Livy division with a couple of teams hot on their tail in the Avalanche and Creekside Fitness. And we saw, too, with tonight, Avalanche having 2 games, so that's going to be huge, one of them being against Creekside Fitness as well. So kind of must-win games here tonight for the Avalanche and 16U if they want to stay in the standings. It could be a feast or famine night, really, for Avalanche, because if you drop 2 games, especially one to Creekside, that'll keep Creekside right in the standings, but all of a sudden you have 4 losses on the season.
Well, Creekside is 8-2 right behind them, so that's a big game. Winner of that game gets second place and starts to put a lot of pressure on Whiting.
Absolutely, and this is the team that's ready to step up, right, and kind of say, like, we're going to be the ones challenging Whiting in this division, because this is the close horse race right now in this one.
I mean, this Livy division is so good. You got 9-1, 8-2, 8-2, and then just the 4th place team just 1 game off of 500 at 4-6. So you look at the Livy division; it is stacked.
Dura Edge still has to play Nightline tonight as well to stay in the second in that Hernandez division. And Astros are 6-4, but they got a tough matchup with Athletics, who are 4-6 this year. But Athletics have showcased that they could beat some teams in this conference too, and they've played Whiting very tough as well. 54 runs scored to 55 runs allowed, so they're pretty much even keel over there with the Athletics too. So you got to watch out for this team. They could feast or famine on you any given night.
Feast or famine. When do we start using that term?
I know why I'm using that term all the time now, but I used it, I think, twice now and in this case. But yeah, I don't know why, but I went back to it again. But no, this is going to be an interesting night overall. I'm really looking at what Avalanche is able to do tonight, because Avalanche goes 2 for 2. They beat Eagleware. They beat Creekside tonight, both in their division. Avalanche will be sitting at 11-2, and that's going to set them apart too. They'll be 11-2. Whiting will be 10-1 if they win tonight. You're right there. Then you're right there.
You are right there, and let's look at I want to look at the remaining schedule for Avalanche to the next couple games. As
this is one team too. I want to dive a little bit deeper into. We got to get some more players on too from 16U, and we got to dive a little bit deeper into the Avalanche because having great seasons all the way around too. Some guys on this Avalanche team. I mean, Noah Philson. I mentioned him the other day. He's a pitcher that can rake, and he's leading that team with a 4.55 average on the year. Right now.
I got it. They got Eagleware and Creekside obviously tonight, but then right after that, this is why I wanted next Tuesday they're Whiting. So you got Creekside, Eagleware, Whiting 3 in a row, and then you got Nightline, Dura Edge, Athletics, Creekside again, Eagleware, Ballistic, Whiting, Prospect. So you still have to play Creekside again after tonight, and you still have to play Whiting twice. So a lot ahead of the Athletics when you look at their schedule.
Avalanche, you mean?
Avalanche, sorry.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to get confused too. I've done it with Athletics and Avalanche before too. But no, I've been mentioning Noah Philson has been a dog for them too. He's batting 455, 526 on base percentage. But you look at his pitching numbers too, and they're just as impressive. He's played in 4 games. He's pitched in a total of 9 innings. He has 1 win on this season. He also has a save. But in those 9 innings of work he's pitched over the summer, he's only allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, 8 walks, 13 strikeouts, and that 0.67 ERA throughout the summer. So, pitcher that can rake is proper definition for Phil.
0.67.
I mean, he's allowed 2 earned runs. So it's definitely impressive.
How many innings pitched?
9.
Okay.
So it's calculated to 7 innings a game too. That's right. The difference with that too. So it's easy to get confused, and for any of them that are confused too, that's why the ERA isn't showing up as 2, because not 9 inning games. If it was a major league game, that'd be the correct calculation for it then. But no, 7 inning adjustment 2.67. It's really impressive to see.
I think that's what we call grading on a curve.
That's absolutely what we call that too. And I mean, all looking at that too, 435 bat for Soren Hedrick, excuse me, as well. And
he's on the all-name team.
It's huge too to get that many guys that are batting in the upper 300s, 400s. Andrew Galt batting 370, Alex Zordich 368. That's production from up and down the lineup, but it's pitching too numbers that have been impressive for the Avalanche.
The 16U division is full of really good lineups. It's not something that like you talk about Whiting's lineup, you talk about Avalanche's lineup, talk about Creekside's lineup, and then you talk about the Astro Falcons lineup. It's a lot of really good hitters in this division. I mean, the 18U pitchers starting to put their best foot forward, and not saying there's not good pitching in the 16U. But I feel like as we see more and more of the 16U schedule unfold, we're seeing these offenses really start to flex their muscles in the 16U.
I agree as well. And especially this second half is really...
As I said that, there's going to be a lot of low-scoring games tonight. That's how the universe...
I know, right? But this is what I'm excited to look at. Because tonight kind of starts the second half push for the season, right?
Yeah.
Top. And for Avalanche, it's huge. You got 2 games. 1 game that's kind of a primer, right? It's against Eagleware, who's looking for their first win of the season. That's a dangerous game to play before Creekside.
Yeah, don't sleep on that.
That's
a trap game.
It's a very dangerous game to play right before you play Creekside. And that's one I'm kind of looking at too, because especially what we've seen from this league, you can't count anybody out, certainly.
No.
And for Avalanche to have to take on Eagleware at 5:30 just before they welcome in Creekside at 8, that's a scary game too, because that's one where if you're thinking about what's happening at 8 o'clock instead of right now at 5:30, Eagleware can definitely sneak up on them tonight.
Well, they're going to be the home team against Creekside, at least.
Yeah,
they'll be the away team against Eagleware. They have the home field advantage against Creekside.
I'm excited for these games too, because that Creekside Avalanche game is going to be very important, because you said Avalanche had to go to play Whiting regardless after this. So we're going to get these matchups. Whiting needs to face these teams, but this really is going to set one of these two teams apart as second place.
Here's another thing that's going to make this this tonight very important, because next week is going to be a long week for the Avalanche. They play on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. So they're going to have 4 games next week from the stretch of Tuesday through Sunday. So that's 4 games in, the span of 6 days. 5 days.
Yeah.
Terrible. But 4 games in 5 days. That's a tall order. That's a tall order.
It very much is. And
I think that's a bit more taxing than a doubleheader almost, because like you do a doubleheader one night, you're like, okay, we're off for a week, or we're off until Tuesday. But it's like every night, okay, we're going back to the field. We're going back to the field. We're going back to the field. So Tuesday, and it's not any different than high school. Let's not be like it. They've never done this before. But they got games Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday next week. So it's going to be important that they, go into next week with as much momentum as possible.
I think so as well. And it starts tonight. It starts tonight in that 16U. And we look at what Avalanche have done. They're third in batting average in 16U behind Whiting and Dura Edge as a team. They're batting .315 on the season. And then Creekside .306. So this is...
There's 4 teams that are batting over 300 as a team. That just backs up the point that
and 3
offenses in the 16U division are no joke.
No doubt. And I mean, on base percentage wise too, Avalanche and Creekside both over 400 in that department as well. So it's crucial, I think, for that matchup tonight, because both of those teams are good enough, I think, certainly to knock off a Whiting. And we've seen it earlier this season, and Creekside has knocked off Whiting. So
what I'm interested in, now when you talk about Whiting, we bring them up. Tuesday night they had to shake off a little bit of rust. It had been a while since they had played, because last Tuesday got rained out. So they won 5-3, but it wasn't their best game. It wasn't their best foot forward. So have they shaken off the rust yet tonight, or are they still going to have to battle through to beat the team that's put in front of them?
I mean, it's going to be interesting, but we got to also remember that the bunch that they played the Athletics, if I'm not mistaken, too, in that game. Athletics are a solid ball club too. They're batting .276, on base percentage .408. That other division is interesting because they're kind of bunched together, but there's some really good teams. Dura Edge is another one of those teams. They're batting .342. On base percentage .465 as a team, but they're 5-4 on this season. There's some pretty sneaky good bats that are hidden behind records, or some good teams, I should say, that are hidden behind deceiving records.
I liked your first point. Like, I think there are some really good players that are hidden behind records as well. Like, you look at a team that might be like 3-8 on the season, but they have some really good, talented players that can't be looked over.
No doubt, and that's exactly why you look at some of those matchups, like we said, with Eagleware and an Avalanche tonight. I think it's going to be a case where the Eagleware is going to come to play, right? And I think they're going to throw their best shot at one of the best in the division. One of the teams leading or at the tops of the division, they're going to get Eagleware's best shot. If Avalanche is looking too far ahead, it's a slip-up game.
And you can't look ahead, right? You got to stay even, as our friend Mike Bailey loves to say. I love getting to that soccer. I can't wait to get him back, because now he's the new soccer coach over at Canfield for the boys team for the Redbirds. But we use that throughout the whole sports season. But you got to stay even. You can't be able to, come in too high tonight looking at Creekside Fitness and all of a sudden, oops, we forgot to show up against Eagleware.
Another matchup too, this Astros Athletics matchup is certainly going to be a really fun one as well, because I talked about just team stats wise what the Athletics were doing. Astro batting .270, .365 on base percentage. Astro is one of those teams too that doesn't have the best batting average. I think they're sitting 5th or 6th out of the teams in in Class B baseball, but they get those timely hits. They get those guys on base. They knock them in at the right time, and they're able to stay ahead of their division right now with that 6-4 record. But I'm interested to see with this matchup too, especially considering that Athletics are right there. Athletics have a better batting average and a better on-base percentage as a team, so a little bit better bats, but we know what 16U to 18U Astro Falcons bring in the pitching department. It's always going to be dangerous facing this team. And I mean, you look at the pitching stats too of what Astro Falcons brings to the table, and it's much of the same too in 16U as well, because their ERA as a team, 2.58. Team ERA, 27 walks to 69 strikeouts their pitchers are doing. That's a great strikeout to walk ratio between them. And another one, batting average against 177 against Astro pitching. So this is a batting lineup, pitching lineup, but I'm excited for this one as well, because this standings implication-wise is going to be huge for 16U in that other division for the Hernandez side.
Interesting thing about Astro Falcons is we talked to a couple of their players already, and they admit, and I think even though they're leading that Hernandez division, it has not been a start that's up to Astro Falcon standards. They struggled to open it out of the gate, so now they have to try to work their way back, and they don't want to be sitting. They would love to end the season leading the whole 16U division and not just leading their own Hernandez. But they got some work to do. But I think they acknowledge the fact that they did get off to a slow start, and they're trying to work their way out of it. But good on them to not let that slow start, steamroll or carry over into games, and it turns into oh man, we're in a hole now. They can easily do it. Like you talking about 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that go into an Astro Falcon season expecting to succeed because that's what their program has done for a while, and they get off to a slow start, the pressure starts to mount. You can get tight really easily. Mental toughness of this team is above reproach, and I think it's very you can see it from the bounce back they had from the tough start.
I agree, and I think right now too, I guess my question is for you. I'll say, are you for or against 16U splitting it up into two divisions? Because we only see it in 16U. 14 and 18 has them all just bunched up. Are you for or against the two division setup that 16U does?
Is there like a neutral? I mean, I don't think it. I don't have strong feelings either way. I know that's really boring, but it's like at the end of the day, I mean, the only difference is now you say you have the Astro Falcons are leading a division instead of Astro Falcons being in the middle of the pack.
But I think it has a huge implication though, right? On who you play the divisional games too. It kind of breaks that up into having like the conference play then, right? A little bit deeper, because when you have all the teams just kind of thrown in a bunch, every game matters, right? I mean, they all matter too, but then there's that little added importance when you play those games specific to your division too. I think it adds a little bit of intrigue too. I like that they do both of that. They do both setups too with the different divisions, with 18U, 14U, 16U. I like that they do it differently. I think it's interesting having a divisional play too when you have 5 and 5 teams split up. I personally like it for one of the divisions too, just because you might see cases like this where team just needs a seat at the table for the tournament, and let's see what happens, right?
They just need a seat. That's what we always say in postseason. Just give me a seat. Give me a chance. And that's what's happening right now in Class B. Is we see the division leaders in Astro Falcons and Whiting both in action tonight. And I think the biggest game we've already said is going to be that Avalanche Creekside game.
I think so as well. And I mean, there's a lot of weighing on tonight. I'm curious to see who the Athletics pitch tonight, because Brendan Ray's kind of been their workhorse with 16 innings log, 2.62 ERA. They're going to need a good pitching performance. Athletics will against Astro tonight. They're going to need someone to keep them in this game, because Astro is going to hold down the runs. I don't know if Astro is going to be able to shut them out. We'll see. Because this is a really good offense on the Athletics that they're going to be able to get guys on base. They're going to be able to get guys in the scoring position. Can Astro keep them from getting those key hits and knocking in enough runs too? We'll see. Their pitching strength, advantage Astro. Batting strength so far this season, advantage Athletics. So It's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see who comes out on this one, because if Athletics win this one, they put themselves in a position to still get back into the division standings right now at 4-7.
Going to be a fun night. We'll go over the announcers and the schedule at the end of the show, Ty, but let's take a break and come back. Let's catch up with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers and see what they've been doing this week on the road when we get back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. We don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
You know, being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. One of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we would have some battles, whether it was with our rival or just another game. And I could go back and look at it and not only myself but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoning County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell joining you. And Ty, before we get to tonight's schedule, let's catch up with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, who are in Frederick this weekend. They have played the Keys on Tuesday. They got the win 7-4, 7 runs on 9 hits, 1 error for the Scrappers, 4 runs on 6 hits, 1 error for the Keys. And Buck Anderson continues to have a really good season. He goes 2 for 4 on the day. And then you have 2 RBI from DeZenzo, who went 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored, 2 for 3 on the day is excuse me, I got it. There we go. Is Storbakken. He went 2 for 3 RBI, big bat for him. And 6 RBI on the day for the Scrappers as far as their 7 runs scored. Last night they got suspended in the game, so they are up on the Frederick Keys from last night's game. It got rained out as they have the lead in the bottom of the 5th. 4-2, they have the lead. They already have 8 hits, and Frederick held the 2 runs on 5. So that game to be continued at a later date. Tonight they play again. Actually, they're playing right now in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1, they have the lead. So, once again, Scrappers still 10-1 in the season. They have the suspended game last night. They're up right now 2-1 in the 5th. You're muted or something. Can't hear you.
The mic I was on, it switched the microphone I was on again. But they've been on some type of roll too. 10-1 on the season, like you mentioned. And I mean, it's just putting together great hittings. We've seen guys like Sean Tillman too. That one hitter of the week last week, he was batting over 500 in the week. Like, I mean, these guys are just raking the ball. They're ripping it throughout the field too, depositing it over the fence in a lot of cases as well too. And I mean, this is an offense that explodes at the right times. And when they're down, they seem like they're extra motivated to put together rallies. And pitchers are doing enough to get wins, and they're getting a lot of momentum to start the season. I hope that they can keep it up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're up today, and then over the weekend, they are going to be in Williamsport for the 3-game series. Once again, they'll be back at home on Monday, the 20th. That's when you can find them back in Eastwood Field, but they are on the road all week. They finish their time in Frederick today, and then they will go to Williamsport over the weekend.
And I mean, you got to look too. Make sure you check out their promotional site too. I believe they have like a $2 pizza night too on Tuesday next week as well. And I mean, they have a great promotional schedule. Military Appreciation Night, that's a big one on Wednesday this upcoming week. You can find that too on the MLBDraftLeague.com/Mahoning Valley, or just look up Mahoning Valley Scrappers too, and you can get their site that way too. But they have their promotional schedule there for every week.
I think what everyone loves is Buck Night, and Buck Night's back on Thursday, the 23rd, is you can get $1 general admission ticket, $1 hot dog, $1 beers, all on Buck Night, which is Thursday, the 23rd.
And you know those are going to be packed house too. Those ones are always packed too. It seems like for Mahoning Valley, and get out there and see them, folks. I mean, on top of the fact that Mahoning Valley runs some great promotions too, and some great promotional nights, they also have a really good baseball team that they're fielding right now at Eastwood Field. So get out there and catch them while they're hot.
All right, how about Saturday? Like, for all the you Karate Kid fans out there, or fans of the new Netflix series Cobra Kai, they're going to have Cobra Kai night on Saturday, and they're also having Gianni DeCenzo, who plays Dimitri, on that show at Eastwood Field. So you can get tickets and VIP packages at the ticket site.
And it's going to be
all those links are found on their social media.
And then it's post-game fireworks on Friday too, starting the string of Friday fireworks too. So Friday night fireworks, I don't know about you, Ann, but like that's the one thing I always remember as like a kid going to Scrappers games was we would always go Friday nights too, as many as we could throughout the summer to see the firework nights.
I'm gonna get some flack for this time. I've never been a big fan of fireworks.
You didn't like the firework nights too? You're
like,
not
if you know me, one, you know I'm jumpy, so every bomb makes me like that. And like, I don't know if it's because I've had bad vision all my life, but my ears have always been like extra sensitive. So like loud noises like that, like kind of hurt, to be honest. So I've never been a huge fan of firework nights. I remember like going to Royals games. If they made me go to firework night, I'd be like, let's leave early. Let's get out of here before the fireworks start. Because I ain't around for that.
You're sticking the mud. You're trying to get them out of the fire. Yeah, we can't see these. Let's go.
I'm not like I think it's Indians or Guardians now. They do fireworks after every home run. So
yeah,
like their home run gets in. I'm like,
yeah, it's preparing himself.
And man, like you never know if a stadium's gonna blow them off after the anthem or not. So you're sitting there like,
Well, I feel
man.
like you're one of the stick in the muds about
I
fireworks.
jump at everything. Like that's why, like going to Crestview football always stinks for me because they have that cannon.
I know
And
they
it's
do.
like, even though you know it's coming, it like makes me jump out of my skeleton. It's like, oh God.
Cannon blasts.
You know, it's a rough life.
But they will have that too for all of you that do enjoy the post game fireworks. That's a big one too.
I will watch from the car and see all the pretty fireworks that I don't have to hear. That'd be great.
But also, it's also a Friday, June 24th. You will also get the specialty team jersey auction.
Oh, there you go.
For that night too. And hey, look at that too. Our partners over at 21 WFMJ are one of the presenting sponsors for Friday night too. So extra reason too to get out there and start off the weekend cap next weekend too with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, as they actually start on Monday all next week with home slate.
Yeah. Sticks and stones, DJ.
Go back to Canada. 4th of July, man. That's
you know
like
what? There are fireworks that I do like. Sparklers.
Quiet ones.
The fountains. I like the fountains, the ones that kind of spit up in the air.
Fountains are cool. I do like
I can handle bottle rockets. Those aren't too loud.
But also, you mentioned that
artillery shells are when I go, let's not do that.
Thursday's not only Buck night, it's Pokemon night too. And for all the kids and even adults alike, because it's spanned across generations. I was never big into the Pokemon train.
Should we stop so I can catch something on Pokemon Go?
So this is where I can get flack too, because I was never a big Pokemon person.
That's not going to get you flack, because that's not nearly as much flack as fireworks. I'm going to get
snap bangs.
It's almost like if I said I didn't like ice cream, that's almost just as bad as saying I don't really like fireworks. They hurt, okay? They hurt me. I don't like things that hurt me. My ears are sensitive. I can't help it.
It's a great week coming up though, starting Monday, June 20th for the Scrappers. So get out there and support.
You know those things that you throw on the ground, they snap? Those little pieces.
Yeah, that's what the snap.
Oh,
the snappers are. That's what we would call them, snappers, snap bangs, whatever.
You used to get them in between your ring, your middle finger and your thumb, and flick them and into the ground, snap. So they really snap on your snap.
They do. And that was pretty cool. I think my dad used to, I remember my dad used to.
You do that with quarters too. You put it and you just do this, and it just.
You don't like doing that with the snaps though, and
no, you do them with the snaps. You flick them onto the ground, and if you can do it right, they pop right when you snap them.
He got you on this one.
What?
He said your ears aren't that sensitive. I can hear your headphones from my desk every day.
My headphones get turned off. I don't know what he's talking
about. You mute your headphones?
No, like when I get in the office, I turn them off and put them on my desk.
Oh.
He might be hearing my phone, like I play music in the studio on the phone.
I think you might be talking about your literal headphones.
Yeah, my Beats by Dre.
No, I don't know about your headphones. I think he's talking about studio. I thought he might be talking about the volume you keep up for the show when you have studio headphones.
That's because they're headphones that are off that you can hear because they're not on my ears, so you can hear them. I'm just being attacked today. It's okay. I'll take it.
You're the one who attacked fire.
I'll take the heat. It's okay. I can take it. I can take the heat.
I don't know if you can. You're getting
pretty defensive. I know.
But I'll tell you what, though. What'll get you to calm down.
Much longer.
I'll tell you what'll get you to calm down. Looking at the schedule and looking at our great announcers too. I made them my spark on my thing or my spark, I should say, on Power Hour the other day too, and they're at it once again.
Electric.
Yeah. Once again, they're at it too with a lot of great coverage of Bobseen Park baseball tonight. What, you need me to go over it? Looking soft index is high today.
I'm real sick of getting berated on my own show.
He brought it back. We talked about there is 2 games in every 16U that are 2 games for 16U on every scene one, but we also have a game on Pemberton, 2 games on Pemberton that Dom O'Brien will be out at. Noah Doty will be out at Springfield at 5:30. But we went over the games that are going to be going on for scene 1, 2, and 3. I could pull those right back up again and take a look at the schedule we have going on for each game and who's going to be calling each game for us tonight. And I believe the 14U is going to be playing at Springfield and Pemberton. So we'll get these games lined up here real quickly. So game schedule for 16U, first and foremost for scene 1. Over at scene 1 tonight, it is going to be none other than Richie Giuliano doing a great job too. And we mentioned the Mahoning Valley Scrappers. He does great work too over at Bob Scene Park. He'll be at it tonight for the 5:30 game at scene 1 between Astro and Athletics. That's going to be a fun one, followed by Prospects and Eagleware. Scene 2 is going to be featuring Matt Mayer for the 5:30 and 8 o'clock games. And those 2 games at 5:30, it starts off on scene 2 with Avalanche and Eagleware, followed by the big one, Creekside at Avalanche tonight. And again, Matt Mayer going to have the call on that one. Finally, on scene 3, David Williams going to be on the call for that one. 5:30 p.m. start on scene 3 between Whiting and Ballistic, followed by Dura Edge and Nightline. And Williams will have the call on that. David Williams again for scene 3. Let me look at these 14U games real quick and what's going to be on the slate for Pemberton and for Springfield.
I'm letting you take it, man.
And pulling
this
roll. Pulling the schedule up to Springfield is going to be Ballistic and Eagleware at 5:30. And again, what did I say? Who was on the call for that one at 5:30? It was Noah Doty. And then Dom O'Brien for the 5:30 and 7:30 games at Pemberton. 14U again, A to Z take on Prospects at 5:30 at Pemberton. And again, it's Prospects against A to Z, but they just flipped the home team at 7:30. And Dom O'Brien will be on the call for those.
That's going to be a fun night. And once again, I always say it, props to our announcers that are going out and doing double duty at Scene Park or going to Pemberton or going to Springfield. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we have the big numbers in the summer that we already do. We're over 100 games for the summer already. And one of the big reasons is the announcers that buy into what we're doing in the summer months when it's hot out and it's nice. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you could do with your summertime. Go to the pool, maybe have some fireworks if you're of that variety. I'm not, don't bring them to me, but all the things that you could be doing, but they buy into what we're doing at YSN and they go cover these games. So again, props to our announcers. I can't say it enough.
And we look at it again, and I've been saying too, you go from the show for YSN show schedule that starts with us at 12 o'clock. We go to 2. Casual Sports does their thing from 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. Then it's just a little bit of a gap. 5:30 is when the first pitch starts, and that's been every night this week too. 5:30 and then 8 o'clock starts. So we quite literally take you deep into the night, 10 o'clock hour on ysnlive.com.
Deep, yeah, that's not kidding. And let's look at the Storm Tracker 21 app to make sure that there is no wildness in the forecast. As we hold on, my Face ID didn't work. Now it is. It did not recognize my face. Oh. Anyway, so we go to the 91 degrees right now, but there is the chance of rain as we venture into the night. This is why I wanted to look at the Storm Tracker app. Small chances of thunderstorms from 3 to 5, but then it goes away. And it should be pretty nice the rest of the night. Cloudy on 6 o'clock, and then mostly cloudy and sunny at 7. And then the sun starts to peek out a little bit more at 8. So if we can escape the thunderstorm threat from 3 to 5 and, not get lightning or anything like that, we should be fine for tonight. And then you look at the weekend, beautiful weekend, 82 on Friday, high of 69 on Saturday. So it's cooling down a little bit. And then we have a high of 73 on Sunday. So it should be a beautiful weekend. And I say the weekend because I want to remind everyone we will not have a show tomorrow because there are Steel Valley Storm games at Springfield on the tomorrow afternoon. So I will be in Springfield and we will have the day off, and you can head over to ysnlive.com to see those games on the network.
Those will be fun too. And then I will be in Bobseen Park too. I'll get a little bit of a taste of this summer ball action too. So I'm excited to
Is this your first dip? Is this your first dip in the scene?
Yeah, my first dip into summer ball too. Like I said, these announcers have been covering it. Like Quinn's like, you want to do any games? And I check and they're just covered. And I'm like,
we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So, but no, I think I'm gonna be trying to get back out to Scene Park some more too, as some days open up and where I can, obviously too. But yeah, I'm excited to get out there. Starting tomorrow too, get a little bit of taste of Scene Park action.
All right, we have a question in the comment. What do you think the best baseball bat is? Now, are we talking like the composite bats that we use in high school, or are we talking like the wooden bats?
I've heard a lot.
I'm not too educated on my wooden bats and what the differences are in the brands and the manufacturers and things like that.
In high school, I've heard a lot of like the Easton Speeds, and I've heard like the Louisville Sluggers too are big in like the baseball realm for bats.
Like you asked me softball, I'm like, hey, here we go. Here's a couple of them. You know, the Easton has the Ghost, which is good but maybe not durable. DeMarini has a good bat.
Just too, because that was always like a thing. They were always kind of making adjustments to how your bat, because I remember it used to be drop 3 BB core for like high school bats, but now I don't know if it's still like if you could still have drop 3. It has to be.
I don't know what the specifications are nowadays for the OHSA. I know there's a document on the website that is a big list of the specifications of what you can have as far as your baseball and softball bats, and it's longer than you might think. They are real particular about the bats that you are and aren't able to use in the OHSA, and that's why before every game, if you pay attention, the teams will leave their bats at the dugout, and the umpires come and inspect all the bats, because there are very specific specifications that you have to follow when you're using your bats for high school and college. College have different lists, and high school has different lists. So in a college game, same thing. If you watch the World Series this weekend, by the way, good luck to Michael Turner, former champion standout that is playing in Arkansas, in Omaha, playing for Arkansas in Omaha for a World Series championship. But if you watch it, they'll leave their bats out in the dugout before the game, and the umpires have to come and inspect every bat. So bat specifications, I got that word the third time perfectly. Tripped me up the first two. Bat specifications, very particular in the realm of baseball and softball.
And looking overall too, just like the bats, like these bats are not easy sometimes. It's like reading code half the time too. It's like the Easton 3.4
AW5
Series 42. Like it's like reading
You're
code.
Right. And also, Ty, what you learn really quick, especially when you dive into some of the travel scenes, bats are expensive.
They get up there.
Like
a few $100.
The bats that you need, and so when I hear stories of them breaking like 4 months into being had, I'm thinking, oh man, that's gotta suck. You spend like $350 on an Easton Ghost and it breaks pretty quick, and it's like, oh no.
Too. Oh, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate too. But that's one of the worst feelings, I think, once you spend that kind of just breaks. Also wanted to wish congratulations to Aiden English and Stevie Rowan and the Northeast Ohio Baseball Coaches Association All-Star Game in Akron. As we shared that on our social too. Just wanted to give them recognition before we go here on Running Point as well as Derek Hillebon hit a hole-in-one in his first outdoor practice for a golf team at Partos. And I wanted to give a little bit more because I saw this and I couldn't believe that too. We're going to have to talk with Brian next week about it. Hitting a hole-in-one in your first practice, like what are the odds and chances that you just go out there?
Talk about setting the bar high for the rest of your experience.
Like you just go
that right off the bat. Like you're not getting that again for a long time, probably.
I just think of like, you brought up Karate Kid. I think of Mr. Miyagi. It's like you beginner's luck with the fly, catching the fly with the chopsticks.
I like how Jackie Chan can't do it in the Karate Kid remake, and they're trying to do the homage, and he just grabs a fly swatter and hits the fly.
He just smacks it to screw it.
He's sitting there, he's like,
just says whatever. But yeah,
Mr. Miyagi, classic film character, one of the best.
One of the best.
Wax on, wax off.
Full slate of games though tonight for you folks, so make sure you get out there and support. It's going to be a warm night tonight too, so take advantage of the summer. Get out to Scene. Only a couple of bucks to enjoy all games that are going on at Scene Park too. You could walk amongst all three fields and watch what's going on. But if you can make it out to the park tonight, maybe it's a little bit too hot for you. You know where you can find the games completely free. ysnlive.com/live, and we'll get you covered for all those games tonight. Every game of Bob Scene Park 2 that's happening in the park and outside too for 14U is going to be covered tonight, thanks to our great announcers for the summer.
Yeah, you said it all. I don't know how to second that. Like, great night for baseball. We're gonna dodge the rain, thankfully. Hopefully, there's a low chance.
Hopefully.
I shouldn't have said that. There's a low chance. Now my dog's gonna go nuts. That was stupid. That was stupid. There's a low chance, like 3 to 5, like I said. So if we can just avoid that, and even if we can't, I mean, the game started at 5:30. So as long as it doesn't like downpour for 2 straight hours, should be good. Knock on wood. Not gonna do it again.
Yep, absolutely. So stay tuned with that, but get out there and support folks. And if not, we got you covered right here.
We're going to take, let's do the math. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 3 days. 4 days, 4 days minus 2 hours.
Would that be 94? Because 96 would be 4 days, right? Yeah.
94-hour break. 94-hour break. We'll be back on Monday. Remember, no show tomorrow. There are going to be Steel Valley Storm softball games on the network on 11 o'clock and 12:30 from Springfield High School. Didn't know, but they got fields back there. They got like tons of fields down at Springfield High School. So we'll be down there with Steel Valley Storm travel softball games. And me and Ty will be back on Monday for Running Point 12-2. Anthony Miller will join the show on Monday from the Astro Falcons 18U team. It is going to be 1:15. He'll be on the show. We're going to have some more guests. We've reached out to a lot of Class B players this week, so hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more content for you than we did this week. We apologize. We hold ourselves to that standard of having guests on the show, and this week it didn't go the way we wanted to, and sometimes that's going to happen. But next week we're going to work hard, and we're going to make sure that we have tons of content on the show next week for you guys. We know that you like tuning into us, but we also know that you probably don't tune into us just jackamoing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
It was we're going to dig deep. We're going to work hard, and we're going to do better next week to get people on this show. So for Anthony Harvey, Ty Bartel, Casual Sports Podcast coming up next, Power Hour from 3 to 4, and then baseball all night from Bob Scene Park, Pemberton, and Springfield. So it's going to be a fun night of baseball. Have fun tonight. Scrappers, they're in action. You can find their broadcast of the away team on ysnlive.com/scrappers if you want those, because those are going to be on the network as well. Not on the network, but, linked. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. We are going to have a social media giveaway for tickets on tomorrow as well for the Scrappers tickets, since we will not be on the show tomorrow. So we will have the ticket giveaway still like we do every Friday. We will have that on our social media account. Follow us on Twitter at Ysn Running Point to get those.
Absolutely.
Have everything covered? Because today has been a wacky day.
Yeah, we got everything.
I think I got everything covered. All right, Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. We'll see you Monday from 12 to 2 on Running Point.